It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.
Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, one of our favorite guests here on the EP Podcast, Mayor Kelly Burke. How are you?
I am fantastic. Happy New Year, Chris.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me again.
Oh, you are always welcome. Can I mention it? Can I talk about it? I'm going to a gala.
We are going to a gala, yes.
I've never been invited to a gala. You've got a contingent from Evergreen Park going to this gala that's going to be down at the Field Museum. I was fortunate enough to be invited to it. I see it's black tie. I'm probably going to have to go out and get a tux. You already told me, like, oh, you don't need one. I'm like, oh, I'm going all out.
I mean, if you want to go full glitz.
I've never gone gala before. I've never gone full on at one of these things, so I think I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, so it's the little company Crystal Heart Ball.
Okay.
I am a member of the, I think they call it the Community Advisory Board for Little Company. So I'm putting together a table. So you, along with your sidekick, Frank Murray, and his significant other are going to be there, along with some other, our clerk, Kelly Duffy, and her husband, my husband, Terry, and then a couple neighborhood folks, and we are going to have a good time.
That's awesome.
Field Museum, get to wander around,
I cannot
all dressed
wait.
up.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I've never been invited to a gala before. And then when the mayor sends you a text like, will you come to a gala? I was like, yes. I was like, how do I say no to that? I didn't even know what my plans were. I was going.
We're going to have a good time.
Awesome. I cannot wait.
And support a good cause.
Yes.
And I'll interject also that they have an honoree every year. It's the Mary Potter Humanitarian Award, I believe. And the winner, I don't want to steal any thunder from OSF, but is Jerry Nealon and the Christmas Without Cancer crew. So it's a local group that's being honored, which makes it doubly nice.
That's really cool. Very cool. Awesome. So you're dressed up today. Those that will get to see
I will be more dressed up at the gala.
Oh, I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you will be. Those that will view the video that will come out later on this week or see anything on social media will see that you're dressed up today and you gave an address. At the time that we're recording this, you did your State of the Village address already at one of the senior luncheon that is every...
Senior Council luncheon.
All right, so what was the highlight there? Like, what were people buzzing about after you spoke? Because I know after you're done, people get up. Some of them get up and say nice things. Some of them get up and say, I got this problem and I got to tell you about it. Some of them get up and they're just excited about something you said. So what was the buzz after you finished it?
Well, it was all positive, which is good.
Good.
And one gentleman wanted to learn more about this tree trimming initiative that we've got going on.
So
We're in our
that?
third year of it. So we have decided, this is, I think, the third year we're doing it, where we are breaking the village down in a grid and doing a section of the grid each summer, trimming all the trees, because it's the number one request for service that we get is tree trimming. And it's hard for us just, with the one crew we have that can do it and the one piece of equipment to get out and get to all these tree trimming requests. And so we dedicated some dollars. We have we put it out for bid. A contractor comes and does it, and they do a section at a time, and they'll do every tree within that section. And so we've got, over the past 2 years, we've completed the entire northeast quadrant. So that's all done. This summer, it'll move on to the southeast quadrant, the east half of the southeast quadrant. And, we'll still try and accommodate requests for trims outside of the specific grid section. But the idea is that over a period of years, you're getting every tree. And so you're eliminating the calls for service. And now you're only down to, like more emergency situations.
Because I'm on 99th and I see tree trimming.
We had all the main streets done.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I see that all the time. Sometimes I feel like not only are you guys trimming them, but when the electrical company comes along, they trim around because they don't want anything hitting the line. So I see tree trimmers constantly on the street that I'm on. But what you're talking about is when the villages, are helping out on the side streets.
Yeah. So we also, as part of the first wave, we did all the tree, and these are parkway trees. We're obviously not going into folks' backyards,
right?
So these are all parkway trees. So we did all the trees on California, Central Park, 91st, and 99th 2 years ago. So those all got a good facelift. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Evergreen Park. You plant trees. I know that Gavin's
got to take care of them.
Gavin's been in here before where you're
Yeah.
adding trees, and he's talked about the idea that there's a certain amount they'll put in every year, and they take care of the trees that are sitting there between the sidewalk and the street. And now we got the tree trimming initiative.
So trees are a piece of infrastructure, and they obviously have a lot of benefits. But like anything else, once you put it in, you also have to take care of it. So that's what we're working on too. And we try to plant 100 trees a year. We were able to plant 200 this year. We went for a grant through the Morton Arboretum, and that gave us, we won it, and it was enough to double the amount of trees we planted.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the rest of the speech, what were you excited about? What was the thing? They were excited about the trees, but you had to have something you were like, this is my keynote thing that I'm throwing in there.
I am excited about two things which are interrelated. One is that we continue to have robust business development.
Got a bunch of new ones that have come in.
We have a bunch of new ones.
We've had a few of them on the show in the last couple of weeks. You keep giving me content by bringing in these businesses.
I've heard, and it's really nice because they're locally owned small businesses. We've had some great success with bigger businesses. We had Macy's, we had Subaru, we had J. Crew. I mean, those are all name brand, and those are wonderful, and we love them. But now we've had some great success this year with bringing in small businesses. In a couple of cases, they're owned by village residents. So village residents investing their money where they live and trying to create, a retail community that is going to benefit going to benefit the residents of our village. Obviously, we're going to have visitors from all over, but it's really kind of enhances kind of the walk to feeling that people really seem to like. So
I know that the last two I had, one family lived down the block from where they opened, and the other one had an apartment above the place where they were at. So I mean, like, they're literally living right there by the business. They care so much about it, and the comments that they both made was how easy it was to work with the village. I mean, I always get the feeling when I talk with people who are trying to figure out where to open their business that they may have looked at other locations outside of Evergreen Park. I mean, if you're going to invest all this money and try to figure out, where's the best storefront, you're not just going to look at one place. And they always, without me even asking, rave about how easy it is and how attentive the village is. It's clearly still a focus for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, this is our bread and butter. Not only does it bring in oftentimes sales tax revenue, which is helpful, to help us provide things that our residents need and want. But, you're creating an atmosphere, an environment that is thriving, and it, and hopefully will drive other businesses to want to open up if they see that there's a thriving community. So the two you're speaking about are the Record Shop.
Yes.
And then also La Michoacana.
Yes.
De Daniel. My accent is absolutely terrible.
No. I'm glad you said it, because I screwed it up even in the interview.
And they are the nicest family, and the kids are EP high school students, and they work the counter, and the mom is making all the ice cream and the fruit treats, and it's just a real family business. And they were a joy to work with.
I think they're going to do really well. I think both them and the Record Shop are both going to do well. I mean, I've been in those are the most recent ones that have been on.
Yeah.
I know that there's new ownership over at the car wash on 95th, Wash U. We haven't talked to them yet, but I'm hoping to as well. There's another place, a Cheesemate. I'm hoping to stop by tomorrow to set up a future one with them. Have you been in there yet?
I have been in there. So the concept for Cheesemate is Korean hot dogs, which was not on my radar. But it turns out I
didn't even know that was a thing.
It is a thing.
Okay.
And if you asked your kids, because I asked my kids, and they're like, yeah, Mom, Korean hot dogs, come on, get with it. And I was not with it. And then some folks in our office were telling us, like, they love it and their kids love it. And, when she goes to New York,
I'm like you.
It is. So I don't want to spoil the surprise.
Don't spoil
but when you go, so I have gone there, and it's really nicely done. And it's kind of, they have a ordering kiosk, almost looks like a little robot. I went with the boba tea.
Okay.
I will just say I was not getting a full meal. So I went with the boba tea,
You
which
went to
was
boba tea.
delicious.
And boba tea was something I just learned about, but that was something I got from one of my children.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Wanted to get boba tea. And I was like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
So there's a chain, I guess it's a nationwide chain, but there's numerous in the Chicago area. One is at the Chicago Ridge Mall, but there's one down near UIC. There's one right outside Chinatown. It's called Kong Dog.
Okay.
And if you like, that is the one that seems to be prevalent. This is a standalone, independent one, but it's, like the same concept.
Something to definitely try out.
Yeah,
you talked about some of the bigger named stores. I read in the patch maybe a week ago about how Macy's is downsizing, but Evergreen is not one of the places they're leaving because they're keeping the places that are doing strong business, and that's always a big spot over there along Western.
Yep.
We've talked with large business owners over there. I've talked with people that are trying to start chains. There's a lot of people that pick that location because of the cross section of different types of people that come in there, and how well Evergreen will work with a new business. That it's always like a good experimental ground, and it's a place a lot of people like to move into.
Yeah, and the most recent addition to the plaza was Club Pilates.
We were there. We were there too. Yeah,
I've taken numerous
Kelly.
classes there. But the owner, it's her third Club Pilates franchise. She's got one in she's kind of all over Barrington and somewhere else, and she lives further south in the suburbs. And they are thrilled with the reception that they've gotten and the number of people coming and taking classes, and it's a beautiful facility.
Yeah.
So that's the newest one. We continue to work with the owners of the plaza to, they've got David's Bridal.
Okay.
The whole chain had gone into bankruptcy, so that store has been closed. I know they are working diligently on a retailer to come in there. Can't say much more. Hopefully it all comes together.
You hear who it is though, right? That's the thing. Like
I've heard who it is.
You get the heads up on these things, but you're like, I don't want to screw up the deal, and
exactly.
I don't want to get somebody's hopes up and then it doesn't happen.
And what you find with commercial real estate is everything takes a real long time.
Yeah.
A lot of things start, they get to letters of intent, but then they never get to, the full. So you can't get too invested in the beginning of the process because, just experience shows a lot of these, kind of fall apart. But then once they get to, let's say, stage 2, then it's a lot more serious, and then you really start to get involved. So they've got somebody looking at that David's Bridal space very seriously, and then another food concept that I would be thrilled to have. I hope it comes to fruition.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting too. We talk about how you kind of know where things are going. There have been times where I've been kind of told, we think this is coming, or we think that a lot of the ones we've mentioned so far were ones that I heard about before you started seeing them start to do things. It looks like you are converting more than you're not converting on these ones that are in progress. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. And I mean, we have a pretty good track record. We try and work with folks. Like there is at 95th and Francisco, the old 79th Street Barbecue.
Yes.
There is another,
which was not there that long. Like,
it was there for a couple of years.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but it went through COVID.
Maybe the fact that I don't remember it being there that long is one of the reasons why I wasn't there for that long.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't have it, but there's two residents who are neighbors, and they are doing bar restaurant that also has a focus on board games.
Okay.
And they've got a whole business plan. It looks really great. They are in there now doing the construction. I haven't seen it since, they started the construction, but if you see trucks and work going on at that location, that's what it is.
That'll be a nice place.
That will be a nice place. They've got great plans.
Yeah.
And it's not every young person wants to go to a bar, but they want to get together and be social. There's this young adults, but also kids. They envision that you'll be able to rent like their side room for a birthday party, and it would be board games. They're envisioning tournaments of some sort. I don't know what the games are, but it sounds like a really cool concept. So we've watched that moving along, and hopefully it's going to get over the finish line soon.
All right, so we've talked business. Anything else that popped up inside of that speech that you gave today you want to go over?
Well, so this is related to the business, is because we've done a lot of business development, and we've had some really good sales tax revenue numbers. We the board and myself decided that we were going to eliminate village vehicle stickers.
Right.
So for a typical Evergreen household, that's a household with 2 cars at $35 per sticker, that's $70. So we decided, let's get rid of that. You know, our business community is bringing in these dollars. Let's take the burden as much as we can off the homeowner. And so that's what we did. So, we messaged that through, I think, we talked about it on the show before. We talked
about it. You've put it on the emails. You still have people showing up trying to get them.
Or nervous. Did I miss getting the vehicle stickers?
Right.
And so, as time has gone on, that, it's people, the news has trickled down, but we really did put it out every single place we could.
You did. Still, you guys were on my show multiple times talking about it.
It's still the number of people who didn't hear it, so hopefully there will never be a hurricane here and we have to evacuate, because I think half the people are going to miss the evacuation.
Otherwise, it sounds like everything's going very smoothly.
It is going very smoothly. It was a good year.
To kind of get off topic, just real quick, I'll just make a quick note. Like here in my neighborhood, I was thinking about this the other day. I went by that development that I remember a couple years ago that you were talking about, where the townhomes, and what is that? That's 98th, just to the west of Kedzie, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
like it seems like they're getting close to being completed, all of them, but it looks gorgeous.
I think they're in. I don't know how many phases they are, but they, if you go by now, they're it'll be under roof.
Is that satisfying to you? Like when you see everything from the beginning to the end, and you go through the whole process sometimes when it's going to be like a change is being made, or it's introducing something new to a community, or even the business development. When you get to the end, is it kind of fun to go to the unveiling or to drive by that and say,
really
this is what I thought it was going to be, and I'm glad it turned out this way, because, I want to be you don't want to say I told you so to people.
No.
But it is it's got to be gratifying to sit there and say, look, this worked out.
It is really it is gratifying to see a project go from beginning to end and see it turn out successfully. And, in regard to the townhouses, I've met most of the people who have moved in, and they're all retirees who had big houses, and
that was the vision, wasn't it?
They wanted to be close to their.
That was the thing. You were like, there are going to be people that want to downsize in size in terms of how much is there. They want to be in Evergreen. They want to be near grandchildren. They're probably going to be mostly retirees moving in there. And I remember that was one of the pitches a couple of years ago.
And that's what everybody I've met so far. I don't know if I've met every single resident in there, but that's the profile.
You have to say that just in case a rock band.
Right, and somebody said you didn't stop by, but they're thrilled to be living in Evergreen Park.
That's awesome.
They and one or two actually are Evergreen Parkers who downsized, but the others are I think all from Chicago, Beverly, and Mount Greenwood. But anyway, they just really enjoy living here, and that is gratifying too, to have somebody say, we're so glad we moved here, and we run into that when we deliver those bags, with the Chamber of Commerce, people who are just happy that they moved here.
Yeah
It's really good. One other thing, big development this year was that our longtime clerk Kathy Aparo retired.
Yes.
And every time I see her, she has a grin, an enormous grin on her face, and she just seems.
I love this. We've been getting updates. We had young Jim Sexton give us an update on older Jim Sexton, the former mayor, on the last show. So we're getting updates on people lately.
Both of them are doing just great, and so good for them, because obviously they both dedicated, the lion's share of their careers to the people of Evergreen Park. They deserve a nice retirement, but it's good to see them both thriving. But we were able to look inward to a village resident who had also started at OCS, the Office of Citizen Services, as a part-time employee, and she rose through the ranks and just kept taking on more responsibility. And when Kathy was ready to retire, we looked to her to take over, and that's Kelly Duffy.
Yes, who's been on here before.
Yes, and she's just been great. And it's also, gratifying to see somebody, an employee who you invested, some time and energy, and who also, put themselves forward and took on the extra responsibilities, and to see them thrive. So that's been great too.
That's awesome. Yeah. Sounds like things are going good.
Things are going good.
Awesome. Great to hear. Okay. Well, then that's all we got left now is a gala, right?
All we have left.
All we got left is a gala.
Yeah.
First gentleman going?
The first gentleman is going.
Awesome. He's fun. I like hanging out with him.
He doesn't dance though, so
Is there dancing?
Oh, there's dancing.
I gotta dance?
No, you don't have to dance, but
okay.
There is dancing.
All right, there's dancing. Yeah. I can't wait to see this. After it's done, I'll give everybody a report on the EP podcast. Mayor Kelly Burke, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It's the EP podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP podcast. Evergreen Park.